For many centuries, skis were long over 2 meters, flat wooden runners with an upturned tip, carved from a single piece of wood, usually hickory. A ski about 4 inches wide and just over an inch thick weighed more than 4 pounds. The upward camber in the middle was designed to distribute the skier's weight evenly along the entire length of the ski, rather than concentrating it under the boot. After just a few runs, wooden skis had to be waxed to prevent snow from sticking. On hard-packed snow and ice, the edges wore down and splintered quickly. Although skiers tried to protect them from moisture, water still seeped in, and over time the skis would warp and lose their shape. The first laminated wooden skis appeared in the 1890s. They were lighter than solid wood models and became especially popular in the late 1930s, when waterproof glues made it possible to bond layers of veneer together. By 1951, 90% of all skis produced were laminated. Even so, they were far from perfect. Howard Head, the youngest of 4 children, was born on July 31, 1914, in Philadelphia. His father was a dentist, and his mother held a degree in mathematics. Head originally wanted to become a writer like his older sister. In 1932, he enrolled at Harvard University to study literature and English. His academic performance was unremarkable, but he soon discovered a strong aptitude for engineering. He transferred to the engineering school and graduated with honors in 1936. In 1939, he was hired as a riveter at the Glen L. Martin aircraft plant in Baltimore. Within a year, he had become chief of all riveters. When World War II began, Head moved into the engineering department, where he worked on the design of the twin-engine Martin B-26 Marauder bomber. The plane used a fundamentally new concept, a layered metal construction with a honeycomb core. The aluminum alloy skin was joined edge-to-edge instead of with traditional overlapping seams. It was during these years that Head became familiar with technologies that would later revolutionize the sporting goods industry. In 1947, at age 32, Head went skiing with friends at a resort in Vermont. He loved the sport but was frustrated and embarrassed by how poorly he skied. Like most beginners, he blamed the long, clumsy wooden skis. And like most beginners, however, he approached the problem as an engineer. The skis' design puzzled him. If wood were the best material, he said, we'd still be building airplanes out of it. Aluminum and steel had been tried before. Solid metal skis were stronger and faster than wooden ones, but in cold weather snow would stick to their surface and nearly bring them to a stop. They also vibrated heavily on hard snow, making them difficult to control, and they dented easily on impact. Skiers nicknamed the early models tin cans. If Head knew about these problems, they didn't discourage him. Back in Baltimore, he began sketching designs. Borrowing the idea of a metal sandwich from the aircraft industry, he envisioned skis made of an aluminum shell with a plastic honeycomb core. He kept his job but invested $6,000 he had won playing cards into his ski project. 3 mechanics from the factory helped him after hours and on weekends in a rented electrical workshop in Baltimore. The most difficult technical challenge was bonding the 3 layers aluminum, plastic honeycomb, aluminum. The shoe glue Head used required both heat and pressure. A mechanical press squeezed out too much adhesive, so they used a rubber bag system instead. The ski sandwich was placed inside a rubber chamber, and air was pumped out with a compressor salvaged from an old refrigerator, creating even pressure. The chamber was submerged in a large iron tank filled with machine oil heated to 356 degrees Fahrenheit 180 degrees Celsius by gas burners. It was heavy, dangerous, dirty work. Head later recalled, the stench and smoke were awful. Anyone walking past our shop at night would have thought we were medieval alchemists, not people building new skis. After 6 months, Head brought 6 pairs to Stowe Mountain Resort for testing. The first ski broke in an instructor's hands during a flex test. The others fell apart on the slopes. The instructors left laughing, but one of them was intrigued and offered to continue testing. Head returned to Baltimore and replaced the fragile plastic honeycomb with a laminated wood core made from softwood veneers. Years later he said, "If I had known it would take 40 prototypes, I would have quit. But fortunately, each time we believed the next version would be the one. Each new pair was sent back for testing until it broke and feedback followed." On a trip to Aspen, Head asked another instructor to try his latest design. The instructor skied smoothly until he hit a patch of ice and was thrown off balance. He walked back carrying skis coated with thick, frozen snow stuck to the base. Pointing to the shiny metal top sheet, he said, "You can bolt these to the bathroom wall. The guys can shave in them, that's about all they're good for." Head took the criticism seriously. In the next version, he bonded a thin layer of phenolic plastic to the base. And like metal, plastic could hold wax, and the skis finally performed well on all types of snow. Many wooden skis at the time had a simple metal strip along the bottom edge. Head replaced this primitive solution with a high-carbon steel edge. By the spring of 1950, he had finalized a design that weighed about the same as a wooden ski. By then, he had run out of money his own and what he had borrowed. He hadn't paid his workers for a year and a half and was living in a basement. "Either this ski works," he said, "or I shut down and get a job." Testing took place in Tuckerman Ravine. Cliff Taylor, a veteran of the U.S. Army's 10th Mountain Division and an Aspen ski instructor, made the run. Head later said, "As I watched him climb to the ridge, I thought my whole future was up there." Taylor sped down at nearly 60 miles per hour, stopped in a spray of snow, and shouted, "They're fantastic, Mr. Head." Head applied for a patent on his composite wood metal ski with a plastic running surface and received it in 1954. Instead of making skis lighter, he made them torsionally stiffer. They held an edge better, turned more easily, and had 3 times the resistance to twisting compared to wooden skis. They were faster, more durable, and easier to control. At the same time, Head made them softer in longitudinal flex, which helped beginners learn. In 1950, he shipped trial batches to stores and traveled from resort to resort selling skis out of his car. Instructors soon realized they could earn extra money selling Head skis. Even Steve Knowlton, who had once mocked them, began selling them at the Aspen Ski School. Head called his first model the Standard. When he discovered that polished aluminum caused glare and scratched easily, he added decorative plastic tops and sidewalls. Despite the high price $85 a pair, compared to $45 for top wooden skis, the metal skis quickly gained popularity. They also came with an unprecedented 1-year warranty. Head opened skiing to thousands of people, especially women who had found wooden skis difficult to handle. During the winter of 1951-52, Head and 2 employees produced 300 pairs and lost money. The next season, they made 1,100 pairs and broke even. A year later, Head earned his first profit, $1,200. He continued experimenting, creating specialized skis for slalom, powder, beginners, and advanced skiers. Competitive athletes were slow to adopt metal skis, so Head developed performance models. In 1956, he introduced the first vibration dampening system, a neoprene insert under the top metal layer reducing chatter at high speeds. In 1961, Head introduced the competition model. In 1963, Swiss skier Jules Minch stunned the skiing world by winning a pre-Olympic downhill on Head skis. The following year in Innsbruck, American skier Jean Saubert won 2 Olympic medals, silver and bronze, on Heads. Within a few years, 3 of the world's top 10 skiers were competing on Head competition skis. In 1967, Head introduced the 360, a versatile recreational version that became one of the best-selling skis in history. By 1966, Head Ski employed 500 people and operated its own factory in Timonium, Maryland. The company generated $25 million in annual revenue from 300,000 pairs sold in 17 countries, becoming the world leader in recreational alpine skis. Head made mistakes too. Jen Ferguson, a company executive, recalled Head's stubborn resistance to fiberglass. Fiberglass skis were gaining popularity among racers and instructors, Ferguson said. "We told Howard he needed to take fiberglass seriously. He kept saying, 'Fiberglass is a flop. It'll be gone tomorrow.'" His pride in inventing aluminum skis made it hard to accept a new direction. As chairman of a large company, Head no longer did the intense daily work he loved. In 1969, he sold the company to AMF for $16 million. At 55, He could retire knowing he had transformed skiing. Since 1947, when he first tried skiing, the number of skiers in the United States had grown 400-fold to 4 million. From the launch of the standard to the sale of head ski, global ski production increased by 15% annually. Edward Scott, inventor of the aluminum ski pole, said of head, Howard brought stability to a reckless industry run by small-time traders and adventurers. By creating a reliable, durable product that was remarkably easy to ski on, he essentially put America on skis. Head's personal life was less successful. He was married 4 times and had 1 daughter. His total devotion to work was legendary. Those close to him called him a boring engineer who knows everything. After retiring, he said, "I'm leaving the world of things and entering the world of people." Creativity is a powerful drug that pushes a person farther and farther until he dies old and alone. I don't want that. He later found companionship with Martha Fritzlin of Vail, who loved skiing as much as he did. They married in 1984. In the late 1980s, his health declined, and on March 3, 1991, Howard had died from complications following heart surgery. Many believe his achievements in the sporting goods industry were the defining accomplishments of his life. Head himself felt that reshaping his own life was even harder. "There's a part of a man that needs the satisfaction of creating and building," he said. "But there are other parts that need people, fun, and everything that has nothing to do with success at work. I'm satisfied with my business achievements, but life has many other joys."